Colin McRae, a motor racing legend. His father Jimmy, 5 times British Rally champion, doesn't entirely explain Colin's spectacular driving style. As a kid, he likes to go as fast as possible, on anything with an engine. Brilliant on motorbikes, his natural ability to get the best out of any machine has him competing in trials by the age of 12. And winning titles within another couple of years. From the start, he does anything to drive at top speed. He pays for his first competition car, an Autotest Mini, by fitting a new gearbox to a friend's Avenger. Then he drops it off the side of the road, still managing to finish 14th overall. A year later, he drives a Hillman Avenger in the Kames single-stage rally, close to his home in Lanarkshire, finishing first in class. In 1986, he enters the Scottish Rally Championship in a Talbot Sunbeam. Drawing comparison with the Finnish champion Ari Vatanen, and starting to build a reputation as a young man with incredible natural talent. Colin enters his first WRC rally in a Vauxhall Nova in Sweden in 1987. Despite several excursions into the snowbanks, he finishes 36 overall and 3rd in class. People are beginning to see him as something special. His first outright victory follows in the Tweedies Rally a year later, with his wife-to-be Alison as co-driver. It's the springboard for Colin becoming Scottish Rally champion in the same year. And a year later, he's back in the WRC in Sweden. He's a sensation, climbing to 10th overall before gearbox problems eventually drop him back to 15th. In New Zealand, he performs even better, finishing 5th in a Sierra Cosworth. Ford's response is to offer him a Works Cosworth following 2 wins at national level. In 1990, he finishes 6th in the REC Rally, setting faster stage times than the year's world champion, Carlos Sainz. Colin McRae is ready to step up to the next stage. All he needs is the right backing. Colin McRae turns professional in 1991, signed by ProDrive boss David Richards to his Subaru team in the British Rally Championship. Richards knows that he's taking a gamble on a relatively raw talent. But Colin repays his trust in full, blitzing the rest of the field in the Rothman Subaru legacy on the way to the 1991 and 1992 British Rally Championships. Richard's plan is to use 1992 as an opportunity for Colin to slowly gain some WRC experience. What he gets instead is a rally driving whirlwind. Once again, Sweden is a triumph. In a race traditionally dominated by Nordic drivers, only a puncture on the last day prevents Colin from taking first place. The spotlight stays on in Finland. On the first day, he misreads the notoriously unpredictable gravel roads and rolls the car over and over 7 times. The Subaru proves as unbreakable as the driver. As soon as the wheels hit the deck, Colin has it back in gear. Richards later admits that he probably should have retired the car, but Colin was winning the hearts of the Finns. And when Colin eventually finishes 8th, it's to the loudest cheer of the day. In 1993, Colin takes his place as a full-time driver in Subaru's WRC team. The team is under pressure from Japan to get a first win in the Legacy before they moved into the Impreza. In New Zealand, that's what Colin delivers. Even today, his utter demolition of the opposition on the motto stage lives on in the minds of anyone who is there. New Zealand is his first WRC victory, Subaru's first victory, and the first for a British driver since Roger Clark won the REC Rally in 1976, and the first British driver to win outside the UK. He goes on to win in Malaysia before switching in 1994 to the car that would be forever associated with his name, the 555 Subaru Impreza. It's a match made in heaven. At the peak of his powers, Colin racks up wins in New Zealand, in Australia, in the REC Rally, the first homegrown winner for 20 years. And he still knows only one way of driving: go for broke at all times. Even when accidents in Corsica and Argentina earn him the nickname Colin McRae. Subaru began 1995 under pressure again to deliver a first constructors title. The team is headed by two different drivers, technically brilliant Carlos Sainz and the flamboyant go for broke Colin McRae. Sainz wins in Monaco, but Colin has to retire from the first two rallies. Portugal and France only increase Sainz's advantage. Then he falls off a mountain bike and injures his shoulder, leaving McRae clear to win New Zealand for the third year running. In Catalonia, Sainz is the local hero and is expected to win. Colin's response is to go flat out. He refuses to back off under team orders. It leads to public argument on the streets of Lloret de Mar. But Colin finally relents and Sainz takes first place. There's no way the same thing was going to happen at the final race. Colin's home territory, the REC Rally in the Rhondda Valley. Puncture in the second stage briefly threatens to slow him down.
It's interesting.
But he goes on to win 18 of the 28 stages. Britain's first World Rally champion and the youngest ever winner of the WRC.
Spot on! That'll do for me, eh?
For the next 2 years, Subaru rules the WRC. In '96, Colin wins the Acropolis Rally, the San Remo Rally, and the Rally of Catalunya. He receives an MBE for services to motorsport, but none of this compensates for the brilliant young Finn, Tommi Mäkinen, pipping him to the Drivers' Championship. '97 is a similar story. Subaru squares up to Mitsubishi, and Mäkinen is a constant thorn in Colin's side. At the start of the year, a new co-driver, Nicky Grist, comes in to exert a calming influence.
Gee whiz, that was high, man.
Much needed, as mechanical failures take Colin out of 6 rallies. But when the car's running right, he remains the most exhilarating driver in the world. 5 victories in the Safari, Corsica, San Remo, Australia and the REC is more than any other driver. But in the end, Mäkinen takes the season by a single point. Another 3 victories follow in 1998, but Subaru's domination of the sport was at an end. It's time to say goodbye to the 555. In '99, Colin signs a multi-million-pound deal with Ford to drive the Focus RS in its first season. It starts badly in Monaco, disqualified over a water pump irregularity. But in Kenya, Colin is back to his best, delivering a masterclass in a car that's never been tested in such grueling conditions. An equally decisive victory follows in Portugal, but then it all goes wrong as mechanical failure takes him out of a further 10 rallies. He hits form again in 2000 with wins in Spain and Greece. Second in New Zealand is even more impressive when part of Colin's turbocharger breaks off. He binds it back together with stainless steel lock wire, leaving his technicians staring in disbelief. In Corsica, the Focus flips off the road, leaving Colin trapped for 45 minutes. But he's back at the wheel with a broken cheekbone in San Remo, finishing 4th in the championship. 2001 is a great year for British drivers. Colin locks horns with Subaru's Richard Burns. Throughout the season, the Scot and the Englishman fight a war of words. Colin drives Wales the only way he knows how, at the limit. But then he clips a bank, and this time there's too much damage for the car to continue. Richard Burns is the new British World Rally Champion. In 2002, Colin wins for the 5th time in Greece. But the highlight is Kenya, a race he's made his own. It's his 25th WRC victory, making him the world's most successful driver to date. By contrast, Cyprus goes down in history as McRae's Mad Max Day. As Mark has grown him breathing down his neck, he rolls twice on the final leg and still manages to finish 6th. Only one man can bring a car home in this state, and that's Colin McRae. In 2003, he joined Sainz and Sebastian Loeb at Citroën. Colin takes points in all but 3 events, but the Xara needs a smoother style than his go-for-broke attack. And now there are new regulations to deal with. From 2004, teams are only allowed to run 2 cars, and Colin finds himself without a drive. Typically, he looks for more demanding challenges. He debuts in the Dakar Rally with Nissan, chalking up 2 stage wins. Then he rejoined ProDrive for the 24 Hours of Le Mans, partnering Darren Turner and Richard Rydell in a Ferrari Maranello. 9th overall and 3rd in the GTS class, but there's still one last throw of the dice to come in the WRC. Early in 2005, Colin is back behind the wheel of the Rally Raid Nissan for his 2nd Dakar Rally. He drives fastest on 2 of the 3 stages in Morocco, then crashes out on stage 6. But it's not long before he's back in the WRC, this time in a Skoda Fabia. In Wales, thousands of spectators turn out to support their hero, and Colin places 7th. Then in Australia, he records stage times that put him 3rd at the end of day 1. But with only 3 stages to go, a precautionary clutch change takes too long, and Skoda are out of the event. It's Colin's final WRC rally, marked by spontaneous applause at the end of the race from all his rival teams. Away from competing, Colin has always dreamed of developing the ultimate rally machine. From 2003 onwards, he works with DJM Motorsport to produce a car that's fun to watch, has a realistic price, and emphasises the driver's natural skill. It debuts at Goodwood in July 2007, setting a time only a fraction slower than a Subaru Impreza WRC. But the R4 never goes into production. Just 2 months later, a tragic helicopter accident robs Motorsport of one of its greatest natural talents. Colin McRae, a racing legend from a time when instinct was everything, flat out the only way to drive. In Colin's own words, tack it to the maximum and sort it out afterwards.